Do you even know what you're sitting on?
WikiLeaks never sits on material. Whistleblowers go to significant efforts to get us material, and often very significant risks. There's a 27-year-old works for the DNC who was shot in the back, murdered just 2 weeks ago for unknown reasons as he was walking down the street in Washington. So
that was just a robbery, I believe, wasn't it?
No, there's no finding. So
what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that our sources take risks, and they become concerned to see things occurring like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
But why make the suggestion about a young guy being shot in the streets of Washington?
Because we have to understand how high the stakes are.
She heard some noise on the phone. She said, "Are you okay? Are you home?" He says, "Yeah, I'm home." And then it's, "I have to call you back." And we don't know what happened there. A caring person, that he wanted to make a difference, and unfortunately those visions, those ideas are going to have to be unfulfilled.
Churches
Now to a Fox 5 exclusive. It's been almost a year since DNC staffer Seth Rich was murdered. Still, no solid answers until now.
Someone shot and killed Rich last July in Northwest. Now, police suggested the killing in the Bloomdale neighborhood was a botched robbery, but online conspiracy theories tied the murder to Rich's work at the Democratic National Committee.
Fox 5's Marina Morocco joins us now with what could be a big break in the investigation. Marina.
Tony, Sean, we are just 2 months shy of the one-year anniversary of Seth Rich's murder.
September. And ever since we learned Rich was a DNC staffer, the conspiracy theories online have taken a life of their own. But today, Fox 5 has learned there is new information that could prove these theorists are in fact right. New information from the family's private investigator suggests there is tangible evidence on Seth Rich's laptop that confirms he was communicating with WikiLeaks prior to his death. Now, the question is, why has D.C. police, as the lead agency on the investigation for the past 10 months, insisted this was a botched robbery when till this day there is no evidence to suggest that? The Rich family hired Rod Wheeler, a former MPD homicide detective, to run a parallel investigation into their son's death. Wheeler says he believes there's a cover-up and the police department has been told to back down from the investigation.
The police department nor the FBI has been forthcoming. They haven't been cooperating at all. I believe that the answer to solving his death lies on that computer, which I believe is either at the police department or either at the FBI. I've been told both.
But you have sources at the FBI saying that there is information
For
that
sure.
could link Seth Rich to WikiLeaks?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's confirmed. Actually, I have a source inside the police department that has looked at me straight in the eye and said, Rod, we were told to stand down in this case, and I can't share any information with you. Now, that's highly unusual for a murder investigation, especially from a police department. Again, I don't think it comes from the chief's office, but I do believe there is a correlation between the mayor's office and the DNC, and that's the information that's going to come out tomorrow.
And a full report with the new breaking details, and this information will air tomorrow morning on Fox News Channel. Sean?
Between the mayor's office, the DNC, explosive allegations in that report, Marina. Will there be evidence, though, to prove those allegations tomorrow?
Well, Sean, Rod Wheeler, the investigator, assures us Fox 5 and assures Fox News that there's a full report that contains information that will show how many times Seth Rich made contact with WikiLeaks and will show exactly when this communication took place. Sean?
We will be watching. We will be waiting. Marina, thank you.
Breaking, Kim.com just admitted he worked with Seth Rich to get info to WikiLeaks. Kim.com, born Kim Schmitz, is a wanted man by the FBI, the Justice Department, and especially Hollywood. For the last decade or so, Dotcom has spent millions fighting extradition to the United States for copyright infringement laws involving Mega Upload, the file-sharing site he founded. Accused of creating a medium where independent users of his site could upload, share and distribute files such as Hollywood movies, Dotcom cannot leave the country where he currently lives, New Zealand. That is, unless he wants to spend the rest of his life behind bars. So why would a wanted man, larger than life as the notorious B.I.G., want to wade into the world of geopolitics? Maybe the answer can be found in the person of Seth Rich. Rich, who was working for the Democratic National Committee, DNC, was killed assassination-style just feet from his Washington, D.C. home. Despite authorities calling it a robbery, none of his valuables were taken, leaving many to question whether his death, which is still unsolved, was politically motivated. Within days of his murder, WikiLeaks released a treasure trove of emails belonging to the DNC. Those emails created a firestorm of controversy for the mainstream media, the DNC, Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders supporters. The database revealed Sanders to be the fall guy for the eventual nomination of Clinton, with DNC staffers collaborating with members of the mainstream media to make Sanders look bad in the news. Those emails also showed CNN's political analyst Donna Brazile had passed debate questions on to Hillary Clinton's campaign ahead of one of her debates with Donald Trump, clearly giving Clinton the advantage. Image, http://pixel.watch/qt7. Immediately after being exposed, the Russian narrative was hatched, blaming America's enemy number one for the DNC database hacking. But when Rich turned up dead on his proverbial front doorstep, whispers circulated the DNC staffer was the source for the WikiLeaks dump, not the Russians. Seth was murdered on July 10, in the 2100 block of Flagler Place Northwest in D.C., but his killer, S, is still at large and the investigation into his death has stalled. Read more. Assange, Clinton represents Goldman Sachs and Saudi Arabia, she will win the election. On Friday, Kim.com has weighed in on the scandal and unsolved murder all in one tweet. He tweeted, "If Congress includes hashtag Seth Rich case into their Russia probe, I'll give written testimony with evidence that Seth Rich was at WikiLeaks source." After this tweet went viral, Saturday afternoon, Dotcom de facto admitted to being involved in the information exchange between Rich and WikiLeaks. After this bombshell admission, Dotcom promised to clarify just how involved he was by releasing a statement on Tuesday. If this information is legitimate, it is nothing short of damning to the establishment who've been labeling everyone who questions the Seth Rich murder conspiracy nuts. If this evidence exists, it will blow the lid off the mainstream media's false narrative. While it's unclear if Dotcom really has the evidence, he actually was a hacker, even bragging on many occasions that he'd hacked into the Pentagon. Adding in his history of hacking and illegal file sharing, it may come as no surprise to Dotcom fans that he's made such a claim. One doesn't have to look far to connect the dots to come to the conclusion that Rich was Julian Assange's source. Assange was visibly upset in the days that followed Rich's murder, demonstrating his frustration by offering a reward for any information leading to his killer. Read more. His name was hashtag Seth Rich. Twitter rages as media tries to silence public over DNC murder. In early August, Assange offered a $20,000 reward for information leading to the murderer, S. So, why would the founder of the world's most powerful government accountability watchdog be so concerned with the death of one lowly DNC staffer? Answer: he was most likely Assange's mole, the very person who turned over the database of DNC emails to WikiLeaks. And now, the pressure is on to find those responsible for his death. And, there's evidence a relationship did exist between Assange and Rich. Just this week, Rod Wheeler, a former DC homicide detective, told Fox News, "My investigation up to this point shows there was some degree of email exchange between Seth Rich and WikiLeaks." Speaking on Fox News' Hannity, Wheeler said he spoke with a federal investigator close to the case. He told Sean Hannity the investigator came across as very credible. "When you look at that, with the totality of everything else that I found in this case, it's very consistent for a person with my experience to begin to think, well, perhaps there were some email communication between Seth and WikiLeaks." He concluded, "I do believe that the answers to who murdered Seth Rich sits on his computer on a shelf at the DC Police or FBI headquarters. Someone within the DC government, DNC, or Clinton team is blocking the murder investigation from going forward." H.A. Goodman, author, columnist, and journalist, took to YouTube to explain the significance of Dotcom's tweet, WikiLeaks' relationship with Rich, Wheeler, and the DNC spin machine. Goodman said, "This exonerates Rod Wheeler, and you have Darcy at CNN who is still silent, and you have no one talking about the DNC lawsuit that Jerry and Elizabeth Beck are championing." Read more. Clinton camp caught framing Trump for sexual harassment, feeding info to media to smear Sanders. He said, "You have the resistance doing their best to say exactly what the mainstream is telling them. Don't talk about the Seth Rich murder, because then you will be a conspiracy theorist. Focus on the real facts, like Trump actually paid Russian hackers to hack the DNC. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what's going on, but it does take someone who can think for themselves. Rich's death investigation is only heating up. The Free Thought Project will bring you any and all updates concerning Dotcom's claim to have proof he was the DNC database leaker. If Dotcom does have the information he claims, he may simply try using it to get out of any and all charges the FBI wants to bring against him, and the world may never know whether or not he has it. For the moment, his offer to share his info with Congress stands." Goodman concluded, "The Seth Rich political murder case is starting to get the attention it deserves."
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago. And so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too, because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt-free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.